We're back.
Hello, everybody.
Some of us are in new spots.
Yeah, some of us moved, and some of us are about to move. So that's gonna be this whole situation's a whole mess.
Yeah, so much change is going on around here. You can feel it in the air.
I hate it. I hate change.
Yeah, I only carry
kind of
large
muggy.
bills.
Yeah, I don't carry any bills.
Speaking of change, let's talk about some things that haven't changed.
Oh.
AKA, do you guys remember the 90's?
I don't know, Dan. I'm not sure.
Because Netflix remembers the 90's.
Netflix has been
and
real
they
on
want
the
us
90s.
to know. Yeah. A lot on the 90's, actually.
Hey, I mean, one of them was like early 2000s, right?
I thought they were
I
both...
think so.
I don't think.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Invader Zim wasn't a 90s show.
Yeah, that might have been early aughts. You're right. But yeah, so leading into what that... Trey and I know we both watched this. Tyler, have you watched either of the new Netflix specials?
No. I have not.
Okay. Have you watched the source material? Because they made two. They made Rocko's Modern Life, what is it, Static now? Static Cling, I think the special is called.
Something like that.
Static Cling?
Yeah, and then Invader Zim, Enter the Florpus.
Yeah, I've seen some of the, like, old Invader Zim.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing that really confuses me, and I think this might just be my dog shit memory talking, but I used to watch Rocko's Modern Life. I from what feels like a fair amount, but like I cannot remember anything about it for the life of me.
All I remember is he worked at a sex hotline, right? Like,
Yeah,
that's the
like,
joke
he
that
did
always circulates.
Yeah, he did that, and his neighbors were like always getting it on, I guess. I think that I distinctly remember that.
Yeah, the big heads.
The big heads were always doing some naughty shit. But like they were disguising it because it was a kid's show. That's literally.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't this a
anything
kid's
else.
show?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
those are
I
the
never-
two things you remember about
Yeah,
it?
well, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
I mean, again, you could hold a gun to my head, and I don't think I could quote a joke from that show.
Yeah, I just, having watched the special, I was like, is this what the show was like? I just don't remember. I legit have forgotten. Like, maybe my mind has just purged that show from my memory, because I used to watch it. Why don't I remember anything about it?
Yeah,
So
I never
weird.
had watched it. Yeah, like I said, I never watched it. It's weird. We can kind of talk on it a bit. I know you and I watched it together, and neither of us liked it at all.
Everybody who was with us who watched it, because there was a fair few. We all watched it, and I think universally we all came out of it being like, this was bad. Like, it was just really bad.
Yeah, there was just a lot we didn't enjoy, and the biggest thing for me is it felt like, because to kind of preface the show, apparently Rocko's Modern Life ended with him shooting his house into space.
You know,
And
as most shows end.
Yeah, because, we ran out of time. And apparently what they decided to do to bring this show back was the special starts with him re-entering Earth, except for it's been the full 20 years.
Yeah, it's 20 years later.
Yeah, so he's, punched in now, and it's the 2000s. And man, does did the show feel like it was written by somebody who, like, it felt like it was written by, like, in 2002. The show felt like it was from, like, the early 2000s.
It feels very much like somebody who grew up in the 80's grew up making a show for people who grew up in the 90's, sort of thing. Like, it's just like, I guess they're making a show for people who grew up in the now, because it says they had a lot of ground to cover, Dan. They hit every single stupid joke you can think of about how weird technology is now.
Well, not even that. Let's talk about a joke. Tyler, this is a joke. How many times have you seen this joke where you see some characters in a Starbucks and then they leave a Starbucks and walk into another Starbucks across the road?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a great joke.
Some
New
avant-garde humor, right?
Humor. Yeah, like out of nowhere, really. Like, who's made that joke before? But like all the humor's like that, all of it, like from tip to toe, it's just all that. Like, it's just really stupid humor referencing how weird things are now. Like,
Yeah.
Isn't it weird that I have a million apps on my cell phone?
Wait, what do you mean? The new iPhone 11 just came out? I gotta go pick up the iPhone 11. I just walked out of a store with an iPhone 9. Isn't that crazy?
Isn't that nuts? Oh, yeah. This store sells really garbage food, but it tastes good. Buy Red Bull.
Yeah. I'm surprised we made it out with a quinoa or vegan reference, but there might have been
one.
There
might have been one.
Oh, no, there was, because the turtle guy does all the fad diets.
Yes, he does all the fad diets, and then he turns into a horrible Cthulhu monster at one point, and that was weird. Yeah. That was a weird thing that happened. It's just, and also, here's another thing that I didn't enjoy. It moves at a breakneck pace. Like, it is
oh my God.
I seriously didn't even have time to digest how stupid some of these jokes were, because 2 seconds later they'd be literally in a whole different location doing more stupid jokes. It's just wow.
Yeah. I mean, and honestly too, that humor really bugged me, and it did the humor that I hate even more as kind of the secondary kind of humor of it. And okay, let me put it this way. I really like when a show can do meta humor or have a meta narrative. Mm-hmm. Man, this show did a really bad one, because the essentially the secondary plot line, without spoiling too much of it, is Rocco comes back 20 years later and is like, oh man, there was the show I used to watch 20 years ago. I really hope it would come back. Only the shows from 20 years ago were really worth watching. And the show's kind of plot is him trying to get this show from 20 years ago back on air.
Yes, and it's very much, it's like they're not even trying to hide the fact that it's an allegory for what's happening right now.
Yeah.
And it's the whole thing revolves around change, and I wish that was just subtext, but they literally say it out loud in universe. They say
the winds of change.
The winds of change. It's very unsubtle. I think that's if I could describe this entire special in one word, it would be unsubtle. It is just the complete lack of subtlety is actually kind of astounding in this.
Yeah,
does it at least feel like it's made for kids still?
No, I would say not.
Because it seems like if it's the whole joke is man, isn't it weird how much things have changed from the 90s? No kids are gonna get that.
Well, here's the thing. I think it is made for kids though, because it has it has several moral lessons to teach, and that's generally speaking, if you're an adult and you're watching a homage to your childhood and it starts preaching at you, you're not gonna really take that in stride most of the time. I don't know most people who would be oh, okay, my opinions are changed now that I watch this. But at the same time, no kids are watching a show about a revival from 20 years ago and are I can relate to... So who's this for, really? I think that's what I'm getting down to. Who is this special really for? 'Cause I don't think it's for any demographic.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I do not know.
But here's the thing. Mm-hmm. This is reviewing very well, and I don't know why. I feel like people watched a different special than me. I legitimately feel like Netflix pulled one over, and a certain subtext of people got a really shitty version of this. They just didn't tell anybody, but some people got a really good version, and some people didn't. Because it was bad. It's just really bad. It's not good at all. But you go on Rotten Tomatoes or something, or you go on Metacritic or anywhere that reviews any review site, and even the critic and the popular review both are high. So I just feel like maybe I'm in some crazy alternate universe. I don't know.
See, but I mean I have garbage taste, Trey. You go into artsy stuff more than I do, and we both are this wasn't good, right?
No, it's not. It's bad. It's just poorly paced. It's aggressively unfunny. It's trying its hardest to be funny to the point where it's almost assaulting you. Where it's assaulting your ability to tolerate it with how unfunny it is. And also, it's incredibly preachy. And I'm not even talking about the thing that I'm sure some people are taking issue with, and those people are bigots. People, I'm talking about in general. The entirety of it is incredibly preachy. Even Rocco's reaction to new things, it's are you serious? Are you serious right now?
Yeah. And I guess we can kind of bring up. I mean, I won't bring it up too much, but they do. We had some ideas. We talked about this a bit, but there is a character in it that was from the old cartoon, returns in it, and comes out as transgender.
Yep.
Which I think when we first watched, it felt. You said it, like we talked about it a bit. I guess you've kind of done some more research, but it felt like tokeny and like they just needed to do like a thing. But
yeah, and again, I agree with you. I don't want to like harp on about it too much, but when we first watched it, it was one of those like groany eye rolly situations where it's like, oh, are they gonna do this now? Like, is this what's happening? And it is exactly what happened. Like, they even had a point where like the transgender character's dad is like, "That's not my daughter, that's my son." And that's when the winds, and that's when the literal winds of change come and start yelling at him that change happens and you have to accept it. And that's when I'm like, holy God.
Yeah, I will say that I think they did a better job. I think they did a decent job of showing like how, you can accept people, like how you can accept that. Like Eric's losing, like you can reach out to these bigoted family members.
Yeah, and I think
like,
that it's cool. That was a cool part, and this is why I swapped my opinion, because like afterwards I thought it was a bad representation of like trans people. I'm not a trans person, so like I've never been in that sort of situation, obviously. But I thought it was like, man, if I feel like if I were, this would be kind of really uncomfortable. But like having done some research and like how people are latching onto this character, I like kind of swung back around to where I'm like. But I'm like, even not amazing representation is still representation, especially for a group as underrepresented as transgender people. So I kind of swung back into the realm of like, okay, like, all right, I think it's fine. And and like you said, they kind of handled it decently. I think it was unsubtle, but it was also.
I think it's very. The only thing that really bugs me is I don't think it gives the positive message of like, if you have somebody who's. I mean, I guess Mr. Bighead wasn't really a bigot about it, but. The message almost was like, oh, hey, if somebody's bigoted or not okay with this, yeah, they'll come around. It's like, no.
Not always. And I wasn't a huge fan of, like, if somebody has bigoted ideas, the best approach is to literally yell at them until they don't. At least that was at first when they started doing it. And then it kind of went back into a direction that I liked, where it was like he started remembering like all the good times they had together.
Yeah, he remembered the memory, and it was more about him having a child.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, it doesn't matter what my child identifies as, it's still my child. And I thought that was well done. But then I also, in the same token, they also had Rocco going like, this isn't the show that I used to love. I hate this now. And I'm like, oh, God, stop.
Yeah.
It's like they did like the double meaning of like, oh, change is good. Change always happens. And I don't know. The Winds of Change character really put a damper on it. I already didn't like it up to that point. But the fact that they literally needed a character like that just really pissed me off, because like it was super obvious already. We didn't need the signposting. It just sounds like you don't have any faith in your audience to get really simple ideas, and it comes off as more aggressive than I think they intended it to. like it's just like, why is this cloud yelling at this man? Just like let him figure it out, and he does on his own. So it's like,
yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it was again, that kind of handling was one of the least problems I had with the special.
Oh yeah, no,
overall,
I think the special was dog shit, but not for that. I think it had a lot of problems that had nothing to do with any of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but
moving on though. Yeah,
to another special. Thinking about things that change, let's talk about one that did not at all.
Yeah, did not. It did, but in like really cool ways that I like.
Yeah. Yeah, because we kind of talked. Tyler, you watched Invader Zim a bit more, at least more than Rocko's Modern Life, right?
Yeah, I think it was mainly just that a lot of people I knew watched Invader Zim, so I kind of was like tangentially like influenced by it, even though I didn't really watch the show much myself.
Yeah, it's kind of bizarre. Invader Zim only had 2 seasons, but you wouldn't know it by how. Yeah, it only had 2 seasons, and it didn't run very long. But you wouldn't know it by just how influential that show was. Like, it was way more influential than its runtime would have you believe.
And again, this special too, I feel like this special really, I didn't know this special was coming out at all. Let me leave with that.
No, me neither.
The Rocko's Modern Life one, I kind of heard working through the waterworks. But when this one kind of dropped, I like saw a trailer for it, and then the next day I got on Netflix, and it's like, oh, hey, there's a new Invader Zim special, and it was like an hour-long movie.
Yeah.
And it's good.
It's pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I don't think it's flawless, but like, it's incredibly enjoyable to watch. I like it's just a joy to get through, I think.
Yeah, I'll say it is incredibly. It just feels like watching a long Invader Zim episode, like an old TV special or something.
Yeah, and it's like if they just modernized the show. This is what I think the Rocco special missed. Where it's like this is how you modernize a show instead of pointing out that things change and so it's going to be different. You just make some things different, but like do it in a ways that like make sense. Like that, like because like there were some differences. For instance, Dib's dad is completely different than he is in the original TV show. Like he's like different in like the way he acts towards his children. Because he's very and you might not remember this, but like he was incredibly absent in the original show. Like he barely shows up, and when he does, he's literally never paying attention to Dib or Gaz.
Yeah, and they kind of improved on that. And I mean, also let's talk the top meme potential format that came out of the
the punch
guy in the crowd. The guy in the crowd says anything, and then he's just not scientifically possible.
Not scientifically possible. He just like teleports behind him.
I love it.
That's pretty great. I very much enjoyed that.
Yeah.
It was very... See, here's the thing. I thought it was hilarious. I don't know about you, but the humor worked for me, and I'm not entirely sure why, but, like, there were several points where I was, like gut-bustingly funny to me.
Yeah. Well, because, I mean, Invader Zim has a little bit of that, like, kind of early 2000s, again, lol, so Tay random.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, Gur's whole character is that.
Yeah, but I think it handled it much better.
Yeah,
than I think I've seen
so
other things do it. Yeah,
and I think it's really the delivery that sells the random. Like the timing is incredibly good on the random humor. Like that part where Gur says he ate a baby, and then Zim's just like, yeah, that's true. And I don't know why. I just like I had to pause it. I was laughing so.
Yeah. So I mean. It's just for me, it's like kind of like the essence of it was like even when it first started, and it's like, wait, Zim, where have you been the last 10 years or something? And it's just like, oh, I've been in a toilet plotting. Why? And
Why?
It's really good. Honestly, I don't think I can pick apart as many nuances, but it's again, it's if you like Invader Zim or if you have an extra hour to kill and want to watch an old 90s cartoon.
Yeah,
modernized. Watch it.
It's very good, and I will say it's not entirely perfect, and a lot of my issues were animation ones, not necessarily the special. Because I thought the special was, as a package, I think it like pacing wise, it's damn near perfect. Like I wasn't bored even once during the entire hour. It went by very quickly for me. But here's the thing that really bugged me. Some of the animations were very clearly done in Flash, and some were they weren't hand drawn, but they were digitally drawn frame by frame. Whereas some were obvious tweening. Tweening is a Flash term for in between. The Flash Flash can render things, can render emotion, but it's algorithmically based. It's not drawn. Sorry, I don't mean to get super technical, but but you can tell some of it looks like a Flash animation. Like it looks like you're watching an obvious cartoon made in Flash, where they're just like standing there, especially when it comes to like the tallest and stuff. And like sometimes,
like an old like Yugo player or something.
Like some of the old YouTube Flash animations. But then sometimes they like pull out the stops, and you're like, "Holy crap! What?" Like there's a sequence towards the end. I won't like spoil it, but there's a sequence towards the end that like is genuinely like incredible to watch. Like it is very, very well done. The entirety of it. But then, like, at the very, very end, there's, like, one scene that's very obviously also done in Flash, and you're just like, well, I wish you could have just kept it consistent. Just so it wasn't as jarring.
Yeah, maybe they just blew the budget.
Oh, maybe. I wouldn't surprise me. It was a very complex it was very complex and, like, high motion animation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I'm just curious again of, like, how these two came to be, especially because they're both Nickelodeon specials.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess Netflix must have, like, some deal with Nickelodeon to, like, bring back old series. Yeah.
I mean, I did a little bit of research where Nickelodeon was originally going to show the Static Cling special, the Rocko's Modern Life one, and then they just like couldn't work it in somehow, so they were just like, did Netflix do it?
Netflix do it, yeah, and I think that's probably, and I mean Netflix has got money to throw around, so I suppose that I suppose it makes sense. It's just I'm glad they're doing it, and this just made me wish that they would make an actual, like, season 3 of Invaders, because it's not like they couldn't. Like, they definitely could still do that.
I mean, honestly, what do you think the odds are? I think it'd be possible if the showrunners are still, like, on board.
And like, you could tell the guy who made it was having an absolute blast when he did. Apparently, Invaders in the comic is still ongoing, so it's not like there's not material.
Yeah, wait, I didn't know it was based on a comic.
Well, the guy who created it, and I always thought this was hilarious. He made his first series was, I think, called Jim the Homicidal Maniac, and it's a guy who kills people with a chainsaw. So he comes from a comic background, and so after Zim was canceled, he like started making Zim as in comic form. Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Jim to Zim seems like really close.
Yeah. Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. It's just a guy who just murders people, but it's the Joan Vasquez, and he made Invader Zim afterward.
So was this like a comic story then that he made, or was this...
I'm not really sure. I haven't read the Invader Zim comics, so I have no idea if it's like... I don't even know if it's like a chicken and egg scenario. I don't know if it came out if he started the comic after the show, or if he like had the comic already and then the show is just adapted off of it. I actually do not... I don't know that for sure. But it's... But I do know that there is source material, so if they ever actually like decided to make more, I think that would I think that'd be pretty cool. I think that would
yeah, that'd be super cool if they did. Like I don't know, it'd definitely be cool. I guess. Okay, do we have any more things that we had to talk on this? Because I might have a tangent to lead us down.
Yeah, not really. I think it's very good. If you have any interest in Invader Zim, I think you should watch it. It doesn't really... There's a reference... Even if you didn't finish the series, there is a reference to a character that was introduced in Season 2 that isn't in the movie. But it's such a fact... It doesn't really matter if you know or not.
Yeah, I didn't even catch it.
The other alien who owned the spaceship.
Oh, okay.
That hates Div and hates Sim more. That it's not a like it's again if it doesn't matter if you've seen Season 2 or not. It's just a sort of a callback to that you might miss if you didn't watch it.
Neat.
Yeah.
But anyway,
so what is this time then? What rabbit hole are we going down?
For you two, or maybe I'll talk. I mean, I can talk on it too. We maybe make this quick. What, with these two reboots, what show do you guys want to see maybe get this treatment? If Netflix can redeem themselves and steer down this.
Yeah, I'm okay with them doing this instead of stupid movies. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm about it. But like, what, like, 90s cartoon TV show, I'd even say like a live action thing, would you want to see Netflix take on maybe in the same vein?
I mean, knee-jerk, if we're going to do a knee-jerk reaction.
Like a knee-jerk.
My first thing, Angry Beavers, I would love to see a revival of that. But I'm not sure if that might be the Rocco effect, where like it's been so long since I watched it, I might not enjoy it as much anymore.
I don't know, dude. Honestly, I watched that show when we first got Verve, and Verve had it on like Nicktoons. I watched Angry Beavers. I think it's still hilarious.
Is it? Okay, that's good. I
thought I had a lot of fun.
I just was worried that it would be. And like another knee jerk was like Ed, Edd and Eddy, but I think that series ended just fine. I kind of don't want that to get revived.
I would almost. Yeah, I'd almost say Ed, Edd and Eddy too, but again, I think it, especially with the movie ending that they already had, like, it was cool of Cartoon Network to let them do that.
I think that was it already had its perfect ending. I think that was as good as it would get. Here's one I think would be a pretty fun. The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. I think that would be a pretty fun one to revive. I'd be super into that.
Yeah, that would be fun to watch.
What about you, Tyler?
Oh man, you already got mine because I was going to say Ed, Edd and Eddy too.
Shit, sorry. I didn't mean. He asked me for one and I gave him 3. I'm terrible. Sorry.
But I mean, like, the Ed, Edd and Eddy movie ended things so well, though. I don't know if I like.
Yeah, I know.
And especially like that last season of them like being in school, some of that was getting a little.
And like, but like it was just one season, and then they just ended on a movie, and I think that's a perfect way to end the series. I would never want them to revive a series that ended that well.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I guess my answer is kind of the same but different because we were supposed to get a new thing out of it. But Codename Kids Next Door. If we could get the codename shit. The Galactic Kids Next Door.
Galactic Kids Next Door. Yeah, that'd be sick.
I would be so about that. Apparently, they had a bunch of stuff like written out for it. Like, Lizzie, his girlfriend from the series, was supposed to be an alien the whole time. Like that, they had already planned this out. Yeah.
Oh man, that would have been sick. I would have really enjoyed that.
Yeah, and then. I don't know why I know why it never happened. The show ran for so goddamn long, had like 3 movies. But yeah, I can dream.
Man, I think like shows like started turning around like right the year after me because like I'm like a year older than you guys, so I like had all of these shows right when I was a little bit too old for them.
Just slightly too. You just kind of slightly moved past
I just barely missed like all of them, and I don't know. I feel like things really started turning around like right after I got by.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of was like you've got like your old school, but then like I can't remember what the name of it was, but there was this competition, like online voting show that Cartoon Network held. Where they showed like a bunch of these first like pilot episode vignettes, and all of these shows ended up being good shows. I think because it was like Codename Kids Next Door, Megas XLR. Which
holy shit, Megas XLR, revive that! Oh my god, holy god! I literally was just going to say it because I was scrolling down a list of 2000s cartoons that came out. And I was like, now I'm just like, holy crap, Megas XLR. That show was like criminally underwatched. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, I can't even remember what show won that, but it was also like Grim Adventures. Well, yeah, because it was back when it was a Grim and Evil, not even Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. And I can't remember what show won that competition, but I mean, all of the other shows got at least a season. Because they were all these really, really good shows.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of shows I would love to see a revival. Like, Code Lyoko.
Dying of Fire.
That show had like 7 seasons.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, you didn't remember that, did you, Tyler?
No.
Yeah, nobody does.
Trey, don't we still have an outstanding bet about Code Lyoko?
I'm pretty sure you were going to give me something if I watched the entirety.
Yeah, I was going to buy. Oh no, yeah. If you watched the entirety of Code Lyoko and then could answer a quiz I could give you on like just random bullshit from the series,
right?
I was going to buy you a copy of Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Right, that was it. I do remember that. Well, if that maybe at some point, but until that day, revive Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
For those of you who are wondering, I'm pretty sure Jace the Mind Sculptor is a Magic the Gathering card.
It's a Magic the Gathering card.
It is.
I don't know. It was incredibly expensive.
It doesn't come as...
when the bet was. I don't know if it's still incredibly expensive, but at the time of the bet, it was a very expensive card.
It is still the cheapest I can find is $110, Trey.
Oh, jeez.
Ooh, hey, actually, you know what? You can buy the Mythic Edition from War of the Spark for $315.
Oh, what a steal.
No.
Yeah, so you have my opinion. I just listed a bunch of cartoons. That's what I want. All of them to be revived.
Yeah. I mean, I'd even be cool to see something like earlier. I don't know about like too early. Like, I don't know about Dexter's Lab or stuff. I don't know how that one would hold up.
I mean, that one already kind of got revived, and then it didn't do too hot afterwards. So I'm not.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's right, it did.
Yeah, it like got canceled for a minute, and then they came back with like a completely different art style, and then people didn't like that, so they just stopped watching.
Yeah.
Huh. What about the was it the Fairly Odd Parents? Did that ever?
That's ongoing, my guy.
Is it still ongoing?
I'm pretty sure.
I think that show stopped,
it
like,
ended
a year ago.
It ended in 2017. It ran for 16 years.
Yeah, you missed a lot. Okay, hang on, Tyler. Let's touch in with Fairly Odd Parents. When you stopped watching, did they have the baby yet?
I don't believe so.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, Tyler. Hold up, Tyler, because you missed the baby. Poof, which is, most people argue, is like where the series kind of stopped being good. I mean, I liked the season with Poof in it. I watched it. And then there was a dog fairy that he had. I don't know what happened with that. And then for the last couple of seasons, he apparently had to share Cosmo and Wanda with some random girl.
Some random girl, yeah. I heard about that.
And people hated that.
It ran for 158 episodes.
Oh my goodness!
Bet you didn't see that one.
And a live-action movie.
Yeah, live-action movie that had Drake in it.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, bet you didn't see that one coming, Tyler. Bet that one caught you off guard.
Yeah, that one's gonna be. We're gonna wait like a decade for that revival to happen. Then.
Yeah, please let that show just stay dead.
Didn't that show have like a crossover too with like Jimmy Neutron or something?
It did. It did have a crossover with Jimmy Neutron, and you get to see.
Are we talking about my boy, the Jimmy?
Yeah, you get to see how horrifying Timmy and his friends look in 3D.
Yup.
Oh my god, 3D Timmy Turner is a nightmare. Well, and it's bad
okay,
too.
3D Timmy Turner isn't real and can't hurt you.
And it's bad too because like 2D Jimmy Neutron looked so much better.
He did look so much better. I mean, I didn't hate the way Jimmy Neutron looked at the time. It doesn't look great now, but at the time the idea of a fully 3D TV show was novel enough that I was like kind of okay with it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because like I mean. When it came out in 1998, name one other fully 3D TV show that didn't make you want to bleach your own eyeballs.
Got it. The Donkey Kong TV show that made me want to bleach my whole existence. just.
Oh man.
So I think they did a pretty good job considering what they were working with. I think they did a pretty good job.
I guess maybe I'll switch my answer to you, Trey. I want all of them back. All of them.
Yeah, like I have a hard time picking one. But if you had to pick one though, it's gotta be Megas XLR. Now that oh Lord, please. Yeah, Megas XLR. I've changed my answer. It's gotta be Megas XLR. That show got killed before its time.
Yeah. I think Megas XLR is another one that I was just a year too late for.
Oh my god!
Like I remember the show existing.
If you can find a way to watch it, it is one of the best cartoons. It only ran for a year.
Yeah.
So I think it had. Like,
I mainly just remember the opening of it. Like...
Yeah. It's just such a crazy show. it's just such a nut show. I just can't believe that show was made, and I can't believe it ended so quickly. And I really want them to revive that. So if Netflix. If you're listening, you know.
Yeah.
Netflix, you know.
Please.
Look, take that money you use to make sextuplets and then use it to make something that doesn't make me want to kill myself.
Yeah. Speaking of Netflix, I guess I'll move on into something a little bit.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, go for it.
Which is Netflix has obviously recognized my refined tastes. And it's like, oh, Tyler, you, sir. We're going to give some suggestions just for you. Especially, we've noticed that you are among this very
elite,
distinctive class known as gamers.
Oh, no.
And we're going to recommend only the finest of anime for gamers.
For your refined palate.
Just for your taste.
Isn't it just Sword Art Online? I feel like it's just going to be every season of Sword Art Online.
Pretty much.
And Ingress the animation, actually.
No, but this time it recommended one called God Eater.
Oh, God Eater. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's based off of a video game.
It is.
Which is based off of another video game called Monster Hunter.
It's recommended a lot of them. I actually watched just a tad bit of Grand Blue or whatever the fantasy one.
Grand
but
Blue
anyway,
Fantasy, which is based off of a mobile game. So
is it really?
It is,
Huh.
but it's actually not available in the U.S. So that's very interesting.
That's weird that the anime is.
Yeah, what? It's weird that the anime got translated, but the mobile game isn't. So that's weird.
All right, well, I guess
and
you
before
go
anybody
Netflix.
I know there's a translated version for PC, but it's not on phones. It's a mobile game. All right, so.
So yeah, it suggested God Eater, and I was like, all right, I don't really know what this is, but I'll take a gander over there.
Did you feel the edge? Did the edge seep into you?
It's so much edge. I don't know the games at all, to be honest.
It's about that. Yeah, it's pretty accurate. The amount of edges that's in the games.
Okay. Yeah, it seems pretty edgy, but yeah. Okay, so one of my biggest issues with it is I'm even like watching it with the Japanese voice acting and stuff. It's just subtitled. So my assumption would be that that they would probably do a decent job, like, I don't know, mixing the audio and stuff like that.
Yeah,
they do not.
Sweet summer child.
Yeah, it's terrible. Like, there's times where like the music is just blaring and like some people are having this like whispering conversation in the background.
Can't hear shit.
Or they were like, oh, that character is like, I don't know, 20 feet from the camera, so let's have him be 20 feet from the microphone when he records this line. And you're just like, here's some guy like across the way.
Doesn't it sound
like,
good when he records like this?
Yeah, it's like, hey, how's it going over there?
Yeah, what? Increase the music volume.
yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
That's what I heard.
They throw a Sawano drop in there or something, just like the freaking.
Oh my goodness! If it wasn't subtitled, I don't know how I would understand anything that's going on.
See, to be fair, I barely understand anything that's going on, even without even with subtitles. The story is complete nonsense. I legit don't know why it was made into an anime. Like,
it has no story from the looks of it.
All 3 games. There's no story. The story is complete nonsense. It's literally just the edgiest Monster Hunter we could make. It's like, the only way to kill the monsters that ruin the earth is to become a monster. My sword has mouths.
Yup.
The angst.
That is true.
Everybody has giant weapons that don't make sense.
Yeah, and they're wielding it with no effort whatsoever. And it's like, that weapon is twice the size of you. And is supposedly made of metal.
My favorite part is from the 3rd game, is the story is, they're the people, because they run around in ship cities. Like, there's like ship cities that wander the earth because the earth is uninhabitable because of all these monsters.
Oh, interesting. Do they change that like later on? Because at least the anime is not indicating that.
The third game takes place after that, like and later where they have roaming cities.
Okay, so it's Mortal Engines.
Yeah, it's Mortal Engines, but it's edgy Mortal Engines.
Okay, edgy anime Mortal Engines.
We threw some metal in this one. It's just so stupid. Like, they obviously didn't think about it for even a minute, because like the people who wield these weapons, everyone's like, oh, these guys are monsters. They never say why they're monsters, other than the fact that they can use these weapons. But they're like, oh my god, put them in cages and put explosive collars on their necks and make them sick or something. We don't know. So that's how they treat their superhumans they put inside their cages for some reason. And then later...
Interesting.
But okay, here's the crazy part, is that later there's an issue where like some kids are gonna die or something. I barely remember this part. But the characters who have these explosive collars are just like, or these limiting collars that would kill them if they like disobey, just kind of decide they don't want to follow it anymore because the kids are in danger, and nothing happens. They're just like, oh, our city was attacked and there's kids in danger. Go save the kids. And one guy just brings up, like, buzzing their collars or something. And he's like, no, I'm not going to explain this. and then later they meet another ship city that comes out, and then these guys are like they're obviously slaves. And then this big titty lady comes out, and she's just like, we'll take care of you. And he's like, no, submit to my demands. I'd require half the ship. And they're like, sure, why not? The plot has to move somehow.
Yeah.
It makes it's negative sense, and all three games are like this, and they decide to make an anime about it anyway. It's just
It seems like most of the conversations in this anime between characters are just, I'm gonna glare at you for a while.
Yeah, they're just so needlessly aggressive towards each other. It's like, oh, the new guy's here. I better stare him down for no reason. That guy's got the Mark II sword mouth. I hate him most of all.
Yo.
My whole family was killed by monsters, maybe. They're never gonna explain why I'm this angsty.
It's just kind of assumed that it's everybody in universe.
Everybody in universe is tragic. Just assume that. They won't explain it.
Yeah, and there's just like certain very obvious like things in the story, like they're just like they don't even have to like say the subtext in the anime, and they don't, because so I guess that's fine, but it's so freaking obvious that you're just like, okay, I get it, like so I guess to be fair, they're like, yeah, we realize you get it, because there's just no difference between this story and 100 others, so.
They won't really, there's nothing really different. The only thing that's different is like apparently Hot Topic exploded and all the characters got caught in the crossfire. That's the only difference between this and like any other post-apocalyptic show.
Yeah, no, but man, the whole like characters never talk to each other thing is just like the biggest, like, you could just give a reason for something.
Oh, they turn it up to 11. And nobody trusts anybody.
Everything.
For no reason. Like, half the conflict in the show isn't even the monsters, it's just the fact that characters just don't tell each other things for no reason. Like, they're allies. Maybe that's what, like, the swords do to them. They just turn them into idiots. Like, you better keep these guys in cages, because they'll just be passively aggressive to everyone they meet.
Yes. So yeah, I guess what I'm getting at, you know, show perfect for me, just the gamer in me, you know, it's just a real...
It's a real gamer experience.
Yeah. Man,
I just love...
Speaking of... Oh yeah, no.
I just love that. I don't know. I just love the idea of Between God Eater. Also, I mean, the animation quality is alright. I guess that's like the only thing it has going for it. It's not ugly. It's bad, but it's not ugly.
Yeah, it's not a story. So it's like, it's very obvious that it was intended to just be like a hack and slash game or something, and we're like, oh, let's make a whole show on this. Well, why? There's not a story to latch onto,
because they needed money, and
they're like, you've got 1 month, make it
anime.
Make an anime.
Your story. Oh, no. I did. Speaking of anime, I watched a Netflix original.
Is it the one they keep trying to
just released pretty recently?
Canon.
Cannon Busters. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I haven't finished it. I'm like on episode.
Are you enjoying it? Because I hated it.
I'm not so I'm not sure if I like it or not. I'll be honest. There's
really?
Parts I don't hate, and there's a lot of parts I do hate. The main character is very unlikable.
Yes.
Like,
all of the main characters are very
every
unlikable.
Single character is a super unlikable dick. Like, just to the point where, like like on episode 2, like the character like literally just starts like the main character, mind you, just starts groping up a girl, like.
Hey.
I mean, it turns out that she's a horrible cannibal or a horrible like skin trader or something, but like at the same time, it's just like don't.
I watched 2 episodes exactly of that show, and honestly, the end of the first episode, I nearly gave up.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of weird, gross out humor that I don't understand. Like, they just talk about, like, for no reason. It's just like, oh, my butthole sure is clenched right now. And it's like, okay, sure. But here's the thing, I've seen clips from later in the series, and the animation's real good. So I might stick with it just to see like some cool fight scenes, but I'm not entirely sure if the content is good.
Yeah. I mean, that's the one thing, that's the main reason I even really watched in the first place, is it looked like a really good looking show, and for the most part it is.
Yeah,
like,
it's pretty. Like, that's the problem. It's pretty, and I like the character designs. So it's just like, so it's like, is that enough to have a show stand on? Because I'm not sure it is.
I don't think so, because I don't like.
Yeah, I'm not about pretty cardboard or pretty turds. So I mean, I don't know. The show just kind of looked dumb. It looked like it was trying to knock off Trigun from all the ads.
Yeah, so it's like they mixed Trigun and Desert Punk together, is what it feels like.
And Desert Punk, and they definitely got a lot of like influence from even like Cowboy Bebop and maybe Coyote Ragtime Show. Like they were trying to be all of
hip hop,
those. Like,
a lot of hip hop reference, like a lot of hip hop.
I was actually kind of liking the music. Like, the intro music was pretty good.
Yeah,
like,
that's the thing. I'm feeling like maybe the show just doesn't start off good. Like, maybe it just puts its worst foot forward and like gets good later, is what I'm hoping. I'm gonna
tell
finish
me if it does.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish the show because I'm curious. Also, there's a flashback that happens, and the villain is like the stupidest looking villain I've ever seen. Like, he looks like a fucking gremlin. I have no idea why he's even the way he is. Like, it's like, he doesn't even look scary. He's just like, hey, I'm evil magic. Oh.
Yeah.
So, again, worst foot forward. I'm hoping it gets better. I really hope.
Yeah.
But that's kind of Netflix's whole thing with the anime recently. They were very pushing like the edgy, gory, like overly sexual anime has been like their thing recently.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, beat for beat, the first episode was just the first episode of Trigun, but edgy.
Yeah, it's just it's exactly it. Actually, it's just two girls looking for a mythical gunman.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Except for the girls are a robot. Yeah, who can't die. And everywhere he goes, it's very Trigun. It's just the first episode is just
like I said, beat for beat, it's Trigun.
Except for
it's edgy.
It's just raunchy Trigun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not selling me, man. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it.
I hope it doesn't. The first 2 episodes are not good. So,
they're garbage.
Yeah, first 2 episodes are trash. I'm gonna continue watching it just to see if it gets better. I really want it to be good because the director is the guy who did Boondock Saints.
Oh, huh.
And that guy's got some decent animating, like, he's got some decent directing chops. So I'm like and that's probably why it's so raunchy, is because it's like Boondock's fairly raunchy as well. So
yeah. I will say the second episode at least got me a little more, just because at least you could kind of follow what was going on compared to the first episode.
I hope it gets better. That's all I'll say on it.
Well, then, since we're getting close here, I'll just give one quick, I guess, shout out to the game I've been playing this week, which has been actually pretty solid for being a small indie game where they obviously they knew it was a small scale. And the game is called Islanders, and basically the whole idea is they took kind of a city building game and stripped it down to the bare minimum that they could.
This. Actually, I saw you playing this actually.
Yeah. It's actually a pretty enjoyable game.
I've heard it's actually pretty enjoyable. Yeah, it's like a space management game almost, more than like it's a city builder in some ways.
Yeah, it really is more of that. Like, the main city builder aspect is basically of the resource in the game is score, and you're trying to get as much, like basically a high score by going as far as you can. And once you hit certain score thresholds on different islands, you can go to the next island and basically start over and continue building up your high score. And each additional island you go to is a little bigger, but is randomly generated.
Mm-hmm.
So, the kind of interesting in the game, the way you get score is you choose between a couple building packs. You get those buildings and you build them in locations where they will get score from either being around certain environmental objects or certain other buildings that you have made, or they can get negative score modifiers by being next to certain types of environment objects or buildings you've made. So, really simple game, but really kind of fun. It's, I think, a really good game to play in short bursts.
It seems like because like I hate city builders, but it seems like it's divorced enough from that, like from like all the management aspects of those.
Yeah.
Where I kind of think I would
away
enjoy
all
it.
the resource management, but at the same time, it doesn't have as much of an end game. It's pretty much
like you're trying to
get your buildings.
It's like almost. It sounds like it's level based more than just like building a city. Like once you beat the island, you just go to the next more challenging island, and then
and you can keep going on the island even when you have the next one just to like build up your score more and then continue on. But I'm not sure if there's any advantage to doing so or not doing so.
Yeah, it sounds like it's probably just like they just want to get your score up, like just see how high you can get. But I think it's cool.
I think they do have a free build mode. But yeah, it's really, it's pretty fun, honestly. Like I said, it's really good for like if you just have like, I don't know, 15, 30 minutes somewhere in that range to just play a run through. It seems really well suited for that, and it's so simple that you can just sit down and play and just build buildings and, I don't know, have some fun, have the nice little procedurally generated islands. And
that's cool. I do like the idea of like a stripped down city builder, because it seems like the genre has been going the opposite, like it gets as complicated as humanly possible. Like the more complex the better.
Yep, because I've been like at the same time considering picking up like Anno 1800.
Yeah, it's just like,
which is huge, and like you're managing like dozens of resources at that point.
It's like that's too much for me. I would have said before I played RimWorld. I actually don't know I don't know what I'm capable of. I'm shit at that game. But it showed me a whole new world, Tyler. Maybe I do like management games.
Yeah. But yeah, the biggest thing about Islanders is it's cheap. Like I think its base price is $4, and I got it on sale, so it was only like $3.50.
Okay.
So honestly, well worth that price.
Yeah, it sounds
like I think even the $4 price is well worth it.
Yeah, it sounds like they're almost underselling it. It depends. Like how much time do you think it'd take to like complete the game?
I mean, if you're playing it as a score attack game, again, I could see playing it every so often for like probably like maybe 30 minutes and just do it as I'm waiting for something else or whatever. It's a good little game to fill time. So yeah, that's what I like it for anyway.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I dig it.
Yeah, it sounds like a game that I actually would enjoy. I might actually pick it up if it's that cheap. I didn't realize didn't realize how cheap that was.
Yeah. It's incredibly cheap. I mean, I guess if you want also just a little intro into the city building games, it might be a good way to just see if it's even for you at all, because it's so inexpensive.
Yeah, like the buy-in price is so low, it might be worth it just to try.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to have the resource management of other games, but you're going to get some of that aspect. So yeah,
that's nice.
All right. Anybody else got any more of that sauce to talk about?
I mean, not really. I've been watching some old shows because I've caught up on everything. Haven't formed an opinion. Amagi Brilliant Park is kind of funny. I'll let you guys know how it goes.
I watched some of that, so I watched a fair amount. It's very pretty. It's very well animated.
Oh, it's very pretty. KyoAni.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I was way higher budget than I think a comedy needs, but I have more power to them.
Yeah. But I mean, beyond that, I think I think is that an episode? We got
I think so. I think we can do my habitual angry old man act. Get out of my house.
And I'll do my habitual loving elderly goblin king.
Elderly goblin king.
Elderly goblin king. I love you, dumpster goblins. Thanks for listening.
I don't. Get out. Stop. Watch the next episode, though. Buy our merch. Goodbye.
Get off my goblin dumpster lawn.
Wait, do we have merch?
No.
Why don't we have merch, Trey?
Shit. Goodbye.
Yeah, I don't have a habit, so play Dungeons and Dragons.